Он своего добился, чего хотел. Благодаря своему увлечению, да, он окупил свой первый компьютер, наверное, в 10-кратном размере.
Тем более у нас есть одна жизнь, и как бы тратить свое время на сожаление о чем-то, что было в прошлом, то есть для меня как-то выглядит бессмысленно. На самом деле я ни о чем не жалею, все складывается так, как складывается. Поэтому YOLO.
There he is, then the adopted British player resolution. You're wondering why? He had a British hat on. We've got to grab all the people we can get. Seriously though, what a fantastic video, what a great guy he is as well. A lot of dedication to his cause to make it to a pro player. A lot of players have gone through similar kind of stories, of course, but just great to kind of highlight the fact that he just never gave in and harassed Havost all day long until he taught him how to play Dota.
I think he's very different to most Dota players in that he was so outgoing and just like would try anything, talk to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, he's
YOLO.
Yeah, he's a great guy because he's just always so happy and smiley, like
Yeah.
to be around at events. He's social, he'll talk to anyone. Like he's just, I think, kind of like different in terms of most Dota players.
Yeah. But great character as well.
Yeah.
And obviously a top player, Ben, as well. He has had a very good tournament already.
Yeah, I think probably best carry player of last year. He was really, really good at TI. Just surprisingly stable, very wide hero pool, never really disappoints. And I do like his background too. His parents were much more accepting of everything, gave him a lot more freedom than a lot of other Dota players. I think a lot of other Dota players, they feel like a lot of pressure, like either to prove their parents wrong
Sure.
or like they really prove something to themselves. And yeah, he's ambitious, but he doesn't really seem like he has all this pressure for himself and out to have fun and win.
Yeah, definitely got some support from his mum early on as well. Kind of been easy back in the days of having to take a loan out to buy a PC and get him up and running and do all of that. But he's definitely paid his worth back, hasn't he?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. In terms of the team lineup, we should also take a look at the five-man team. We've spoken a little bit about three of them already. One of the ones that we haven't talked about, though, is Weeha. Another one of these prodigious talents, Teven, that comes out from nowhere, from the pub
Right.
stars circuit, if you like, and actually can perform at this top level.
Yeah, when he started, he was like one of the highest MMR players in Europe. That's how people started seeing him, and he streamed, of course. It was at the same time when Miracle also came into the picture, so these two were the biggest guys that people were looking at back then. And I guess they were both around the same, right? Like in terms of how much success that they've received in the past years. Weeha is like a bit more different, not so flashy, but I guess he's like more team-oriented kind of player. I think he has phenomenal spellcasting abilities, maybe even the best as far as I believe, so very impressive.
Also a major winner as well. We often forget the fact that
Yep.
he's
Right.
a major winner from last year.
Won a major and then got removed from the team, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
where's our friend? Because we've got a panel member that feels a bit like that as well.
yeah, well, I mean, we have found his feet after that. Immediately joined DC, went on to make that great TI run. So I mean, he's a proven high caliber player at this point. Has had great success wherever he's been.
Yeah. Let's move on and talk about Evil Geniuses. We've had a little bit of a chat about certain players in their team. I want to highlight Crit, though, Malini, as a linchpin of this team. He really has settled into this kind of captain's drafters role very well.
I think he also had the most pressure, despite him having a lot of success with OG previously. Like it's a totally different story because you're taking over the captainship of a team that won TI.
Yeah.
That's really hard to fill, and he is also super young. He's relatively quiet. I like Crit a lot. He's always been a support player, which I think is kind of cool too. A lot of them are like, oh god, I have to play support, but he actually like enjoyed the role and played Wisp a lot. But I think he just had a lot of weight on his shoulders, like trying to figure out how to make this team work, especially following the footsteps of Peter.
Yeah, and that's always kind of been the issue, isn't it, with this team? It's a team full of superstars, Artesian, so how do we get them to play together? How do we prioritize their heroes? How do they work together?
Yep.
Right, and he stepped up to the challenge, right? Last year he was playing under Fly as the captain. He didn't captain himself, so he can only go based off of what he's learned over the past year or the years. And look at him, like they did come out and win 2 lands already this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like similar to Kuro, I think, in that way, in that he has to like command a lot of talent on his team in order to find success, and that's actually the hardest part for probably both of those two captains. Like, how do we make all this talent work together?
Yep. Let's take a look at the featured matchup. The carry position has been highlighted for this particular matchup. Goz, do you want to take us through it?
I think looking at Arteezy Resolution, we're seeing quite different hero pools. Arteezy has been playing like the Clinks, Spectre perhaps maybe the one kind of overlap between the two players, but I'd look at Arteezy kind of to often play kind of second fiddle sometimes to EG, but we'll be helping ourselves into the draft.
Yep.
And I think the carry role is going to be very important here. Resolution has often been the player who stood out when DC, now ThunderBirds, have done well.
There we go then.
Yep.
Draft number 1, and 4 bands in. No picks yet.
We should mention that Nature's Prophet has been the first phase ban. Both these are the two teams that love to play this hero, and they first phased it as well throughout this whole tournament. So that's sort of like a special ban. And from EG, getting rid of Beastmaster and Keeper, not something that we see often, but Thunderbirds really like playing with those heroes. They can push out lanes, get vision, and I would say like one of Evo Genius's biggest weaknesses is when the enemy team can have superior vision than them, so that they can always see where EG is and control the fights in that way. So Riki gonna be the first pick, something that we've seen Zai play quite a few times, and wow, instant bounty hunter. Who would have thought? A Riki into a bounty. It's like I'm playing a pub game here. Yeah. You know, this is what would happen if I picked Riki in a pub, in a high level MMR pub. Next pick is either Bounty or a Spearbreaker. So Misery really loves that hero, Bounty Hunter. So Sanking, very powerful laning support. Laning offlaner. He can constantly shove out the lane, and if Bounty Hunter would help him, that's a lot of pressure on Arteezy in this game. Really, really liking that. Crystal Maiden. That's a hero that we've seen quite a lot throughout this tournament. We saw just OG play it, and you can see how much faster they were able to play the game with it.
Are you worried at all when you pick like a CM this early on, like you know you're likely against Moon Sanking, that securing that safe lane, like with a CM support, not maybe the best here to zone with?
She has Root though. Root owns Sanking. Okay. I think that's one of the main reasons why Sanking fell off as an offlaner. He was kind of picked after the Root change, and then like Underlord was really popular, and we saw some Meepo, and then Sanking just got destroyed every time by this Root. But now I think ThunderBird is actually one of the few teams that pick Sanking the most. But at the same time, Misery does like his old Swapperoo, or as Steven likes to say, whatever, you know.
The debate?
Yeah. It's like, oh, Sanking is going to be offlane. Let's not pick this. Oh, wait, we're just going to put it on Misery instead.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like that in this game, though, because I don't really see Saksa playing either of those heroes. He likes to play these long-ranged
he used to play Bounty Hunter a lot.
Spellcasting heroes. He did, but not after Misery became the 4-position roamer for the team.
It's Misery's second highest pick since 7.0.
Right.
And Moon Meander's third most picked since 7.0 is Sanking.
So Juggernaut being banned out, they see that that's the threat that EG can put in the safe lane where they can't pressure it too well. So like you said, the CM, she has a root mechanic, but overall laning is kind of weak. So you need to be able to like one-shot kill the Sanking, or it's just going to go back, shrine up, come back into the lane, keep pressuring you, and you're just going to lose out on resources.
And he'll have friends, like Bounty Hunter will likely even show up if they think they can really punish the EG safe lane. If they get something that's weak in the laning stage, that's something that can be punished.
Terrorblade being a ban now, one of Resolution's favorite heroes. He can really control how they can take the towers with this. And EG don't really want to play against this hero who can take a tower really fast against them. They want to be able to react, but if it's Terrorblade, then your tower might just die way too fast before you can even get a chance.
Do you like the Darkseer ban? I think I was considering like maybe Puck is still like a top tier offlaner for Universe. It was what, first phase banned in the last tournament?
Yeah.
Because of how well
So the thing about Darkseer is it's kind of hard to pressure him in the lane if you're a bounty hunter. He has very high armor, and if he trades is not going to be very favorable for him. And since they have a Riki already, it's a strong combination. If they would just go dual lane, off lane, you might even be able to beat a ThunderBird's tri-lane with just a Darkseer Riki. So just removing that strong off lane hero.
And Darkseer's northward to the mana cost of his spells, you've got a CM. So I think that's like one of the scenarios where Darkseer's kind of seeing his
exactly.
play.
So the nerf that he had is pretty much non-existent. You just had this OP old Darkseer.
OPCM.
OPCM. I mean, CM just makes everything OP. Like that's why we see it so.
I mean, it's better because you're playing 4v5. You got a CM, you know.
Right.
No, and CM's actually even got some decent spells too to go with it. But
Dazzle. Okay, so that's something that Saksa really loves to play. A strong lane support that can push out the waves. So if there is a strong lane that's going to contest Thunderbirds, he can easily just push out this wave, go and do some pulls, and try to deny as much XP from the enemy as possible. If he cannot just straight up zone the enemy offlaner.
And he's also really nice in combination with the Sand King. We've seen the dual lane a lot. He's probably the most often paired hero with Sand King, I think.
Yeah. My only concern is that Dazzle generally is not very good versus Crystal Maiden, since he doesn't have any disables to be able to stop the freezing field. And CM lineups generally play too fast and have too much mana. And Dazzle will most likely end up running out of his sustain before he can, just end a team fight. So, and magical damage obviously very good against Dazzle since his weave is all armor and physical damage reduction.
Plenty of support for Resolution in the crowd. Home favourite, of course. I guess the crowd will probably get behind Thunderbirds because of that.
Do you think they favor Thunderbirds or VP more? Probably VP, right?
Oh yeah,
probably VP.
for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Just confirming.
yeah. I think it's a tough one for them if they end up meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll hear a few roars for Resolution.
Yeah. EG are very well supported around the world, though, so I'm sure they'll have their fans as well.
Right.
First Resolution, though? This isn't Kiev we're talking about.
Absolutely, and that's why the majority are going to be de facto Thunderbirds fans, I guess.
So Abaddon coming out, a solid counter to the Bounty Hunter, but his laning is still going to be quite difficult playing against the Dazzle if he decides to do what he normally does, where he shoves out the lane and denies as much XP as possible.
Good old Weaver Sumail matchup.
So one thing...
Luna.
Huh.
They'll save Whis here for last.
So that's like one of his sort of synergic heroes from TI, right?
He's
For
also the
Resolution.
most played hero in 7.0, since 7.0, for Resolution.
Huh.
The most played.
Luna.
Unusually.
It was
Compared to
very.
others.
It was like here that was considered like the top carry when Helm of the Dominator was
Right.
first introduced.
Correct,
So like
right.
every carry player,
Absolutely spammed it.
Yeah.
every carry player was spamming it, and then Helm of the Dominator got nerfed. Luna actually got nerfed. Her third spell, the passive.
Yeah.
Or was that second? I
Oh,
don't
her
remember.
base damage got nerfed.
Her base damage got nerfed,
And night vision
and the night
still.
vision with
Night vision,
the passive.
yes.
So the hero got a lot of nerfs.
But he still carried on playing.
Yeah, it's still a playable hero. You very strong lane when you're doing like a full dual lane, tri lane kind of setup with the bonus damage. Good kind of 5-man death ball here. And we talked about Thunderbird's playstyle. They like to take those early objectives. Luna very good at doing that when you hit that like level 6, level 7 with Eclipse, and you just push very well.
They
Yeah.
would probably prefer Terrorblade, though, over Luna.
Most likely, I'd say.
But it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's gone.
Yeah.
But is that an appropriate substitute? I guess so.
It can work. Like, we can already see the kind of strategy Thunderbirds want to do, right? They want to be able to group up, take the tower, and then keep pressuring with this bounty hunter tracks and keep getting kills and make up for the lost farm they would have because they're grouping up more often. And EG going to go with the spec. Again, we've seen this hero quite often now. Has been very strong performance from when it has been picked. And pairing it with Abaddon, they have quite strong team fight right now, especially since they can remove the track. I think it's good. Not really sure if I can favor either of the lineups yet, but
Let's see what Sumail gets. They banned Puck, which is not been seen much play in the mid lane, but it's the kind of hero I feel EG really need, is that tempo controlling mid laner for Sumail. Something to even start fights.
The Meepo banned by EG.
Some respect there.
Just in case. The Spectre started off really strongly in the group stages. It's actually dropped quite a bit since. It's been played 20 times, 55% win rate.
Feels like EG really wants some kind of initiation, be it like an Ember, a Wind Ranger.
I mean, if you're playing that lineup with EG, like, you definitely cannot leave the Meepo in the pool. Spec would not stand a chance. No AoE abilities to really chew down 5 Meepos. Storm Spirit, okay. So they see the lack of the disables on ThunderBird side. And you said, like, you want a form of initiation, right? Yeah. So a spec hunt into Storm finding this Dazzle is a very good way to begin a fight.
Always enjoy a good Sumail Storm Spirit.
Do you think they need a more scaling mid, like, let's say Lina, or do you think they want more team fight with, like, let's say Death Prophet? When I guess those are kind of the two ones that I'm looking at.
I think the Death Prophet sounds really interesting, actually. Very good laning versus the Storm. Gives the Bounty Hunter a lane that he can kill as well. Boom, there it is.
All right.
I think I'm quite impressed with that last pick there.
Okay, let's get some predictions. Gods, we'll start with you.
I'm liking ThunderBird. I think EG have to get a lot of farm on all their cores. You've got Abba, Storm, Spectre. Like, this is going to be a tough, slow start for them. I think Thunderbirds can punish that.
Okay, Thunderbirds for Gods. Melini?
Yeah, I have faith in the Thunderbird's push. I will also side with them.
It's going to come down to how many kills they're going to get on mid or DP, but I'm going to go with Thunderbirds as well.
Interesting. A clean sweep here on the panel. All have gone for Thunderbirds in the opening game, much to the perhaps annoyance of some of the EG fans out there right now. They'll have to be battling their way through as we head into Game 1 of our third series. It is over to Toby1 and Cinderin to bring you the action.
Well, I hope you're all ready for one hell of a series. This could be a long one, everyone. Thunderbirds versus Evil Geniuses. Toby1 joined by the wonderful, the stupendous Cinderin. That's actually really bad for you. Yeah, we're back.
Thank you.
We are a serious broadcast. We had the professionalism of capitalists. We replaced him with me. And we are now here for EG versus Thunderbirds.
Oh, I thought you were going to say EG versus EG. Felt like that was appropriate. EG versus Thunderbirds. Interesting draft. Very different heroes, especially coming out from Thunderbirds. I said after watching the last series with OG that I thought DP is going to be a bigger and bigger pick going forward in this tournament. We do see it again in this game. Really happy to see Luna. I feel like this hero has kind of just been forgotten completely. So the picks from Thunderbirds here looking very interesting to me. Of course, we get an absolute classic with Sumail and his Storm Spirit. Obviously, a lot of people will remember him from back at DAC, having outstanding performance after performance. And yet another of these games where it feels slightly light on lockdown and a bit more heavy on the farming side. But honestly, if you look at Team Spirit, I don't know where that came from. It kind of looks like T-Spirit, you know? That's their tag, but it's T-Birds. If you look at Thunderbird's lineup, they play faster. This is a type of lineup that wants to push. You have Luna, you have Death Prophet. I'm expecting them to look to maybe peak at around 2025.
How are both teams even meant to farm this up? Like, you
wait a second,
got both the bounty as well as a Ricky. Yeah, Moon's coming up. They'll have to understand there is support here with an Orb of Venom from Misery. You just use your Frostbite. Misery starts harassing Arteezy, just pushing them off the rune more than anything else. You got the Burrow Strike, but now Zai's also rotated in. He went for first level up in the Cloak and Dagger. So coming in close with the Burrow Strike, catches out too. The rune will get to be taken, but do you really catch everything more? The Clarity is burning up for Crit, but he won't have enough mana in time to get a Frostbite. So Moon will get away, and Misery is already on the roam into mid.
Yep, that's decent start for Thunderbirds. They do get the 3 runes. It does cost a lot for Misery, though. He's going to have to use his Clarity. I think he had 2 Tangos expended in this, I believe
so.
And, well, all it took for Crit was 1 Clarity here. So a bit of an investment for Thunderbirds, but they get some good information as well. They know that 3 heroes are bottom to begin with because Ricky had to show to protect the Spectre. And that gives them good confidence top lane to put a lot of pressure on Universe here with this Dazzle Luna lane.
It's a little bit difficult to put the pressure on him, though, right? He's just going to shield himself up whenever you go for the poison. So then it's run away with PMS for protection.
Luna Aura kind of offsets the advantage that Poor Man's Shield gives, in a sense. It makes the support in the lane a lot stronger than usual. So that means that this dual lane can actually contest it and fairly well.
this battle of vision. Misery's got the sentry ward on bottom lane, so he's watching Zai coming in closer, and then just tries to harass Crit further out of the lane, giving Moon a little bit more to play with. Remember, he doesn't have any mana, and he doesn't have that second level yet, so there's no caustic to work with, making this lane rather troublesome.
So far, so good still for EG, though, in this bottom lane. Even though they're being contested and annoyed a bit, Arteezy is managing to find very good farm early on. Mid lane, Storm is doing great against TP as well. Something we haven't really talked about just yet is like the laning prowess of these two players in mid. I think Sumail, by many regarded as one of the absolute best mechanical lane players in the world, tends to win his matchup or at least break even, unless he has a very unfavorable matchup in his lane. Now, this one is not that good for Storm early on, I would say. Death Prophet should be able to pressure him pretty well. He's forced to use his Shrine already, whereas Weehaw still has his available and almost full health. So Spirit Siphons are annoying.
Is this when you actually turn towards the roamers around? Like, isn't that when Zai's about to be adding pressure to the mid lane instead?
He could, but it's such a difficult kill. Spirit Siphon on both of them.
Perfect Frostbite, Moon's in trouble. Burrow Strike up. Zai, he doesn't actually have his second level. He is so short of experience to getting the blink behind him, so Moon will actually end up surviving on bottom lane, but Zai actually he's not giving up yet. They're coming up to the Shrine. Zai, now he's going to strike forward, but at the same time the Shrine gets triggered. Burrow Strike back. They need the extra vision. They don't have it out for Misery, and Zai back to the world of Invis. The Caustic Pop, it is nowhere near. So he'll end up surviving as well.
They know he has to go all the way back to base if they checked his inventory. He has no health left.
What he would love if that Shrine was still up from Sumail.
Exactly, but Sumail used it earlier. That's probably being communicated by Weehaw as well that Shrine isn't available. So now gives a bit of time for the Sand King to feel very comfortable in the bottom lane.
Seeing Weehaw actually trying to pressure Sumail out of the mid once again. He knows he doesn't have like a full advantage now. The bottle is on Sumail.
Sumail is doing it very well so far, in my opinion. I think this is, on paper, a DP favorite matchup, and there's been no interference from either support in mid, which, well, speak of the devil.
Interference from a support, but he's going to come underneath the sentry ward. It's only got 10 seconds left on it, but the reaction, I don't know if Misery's pinging out thinking he knows there's a ward around here.
I think that is what he is saying. He's trying to get this information by moving.
The ward's gone now. Sumail's actually going to be a little bit more careful now. But Chris not even coming to help him.
Saw that,
like, Chris actually farming underneath the Dire Observer ward. And I think that's actually the reason why Misery is making a beeline down towards this Crystal Maiden. He knows he's got a kill. He put this ward down when they first came down to contest the rune. So he knows exactly where Crit is moving. He'll come underneath the tower, but Misery, he will take the first blood.
And a bounty rune. Good stuff from Misery. That ward finally paying off. They placed it very early. They do get some good value out of it. Now, that gives Sumail a bit of confidence in the mid lane. He's going to be able to bottle Crow freely, knowing that the courier won't get sniped. He gets some decent CS, and now Zai will look to put a protective ward up for him. We have hit nighttime, so we want to get these wards out against rotations when the vision is at its lowest. Of course, it doesn't fully protect you when there's invisible heroes in the game, and you could always invest into smokes, but as far as Thunderbirds go, their rotation power is not that great early on until Sand King really gets involved. Bounty Hunter is nice for this early harassment and finding this nice pick. When Sumail's level 6, he kind of can't die.
Do Thunderbirds actually rely more on their rotation? Because once you have Exorcism up and running, can it turn into a push play?
Absolutely. Oh, Sumail is not 6 yet, though.
Oh, he can't jump away. The slow, which is going to be too much, but maybe, no, he can't do enough damage to get something back against Misery as well as Weehaw. So Thunderbird's up at 2-0. And Weehaw, the man claiming the last hit in the mid.
And like you said, when Death Prophet hits level 6, they can go for... DP should hit 6 now before Storm because of this kill. And that could give them a secondary opportunity to just go right away, pop the Exorcism, get the kill, and try to push the tower. At the very minimum, they should force EG to do a double rotation, since none of the heroes really can deal with DP on their own. Oh, he got an Invis rune on Weehaw as well. This is horrible for Sumail.
They're both on top of him. You even have the Dazzle coming in for the burst heal from the Shadow Wave. Thunderbirds, everything is going their way here.
Great play call here to bring Saksa for this. You're not going to expect the Dazzle to rotate. And they're taking as much advantage as possible of the fact that Sumail hasn't hit level 6 yet. This is probably the last time these two heroes can combine up for a kill until, well, maybe it's possible if we have skill Silence. That's, of course, a play they do have. But for
TZ is
now,
living in fear on the bottom lane.
yeah, that's also a really bad matchup. This early game for ThunderBirds is looking great. They force rotation toward mid from EG because they're taking so much damage on their Stone Spirit that Sand King gets a one-on-one matchup against Spectre, and Spectre's so fragile and weak against this kind of hero, bullying him out.
TZ is actually going home. He doesn't have the life to survive.
Oh, good choice. It looks like Misery might have actually been able to find him there. He gets out in time. So
They're going middle lane. Crit with that quick little haste rune jumping into the mid. They do have the silencer. Weeha can't just Spirit Siphon himself away to victory. And that allows Sumail, 1, to have level 6, and 2, to get a good big kill over on the Death Prophet.
Yeah.
Top lane, a little bit more trouble for the Abaddon. Trying to reach back to his tier 1 tower, able to make it. And Zai also rotates up to the top lane.
big pick for EG, though, to get this comeback in the mid lane. They were losing their mid lane. They were kind of losing all three lanes, actually. Abaddon is getting way less than the Sand King, and Luna is also out farming the Spectre. So the early game for ThunderBirds was already starting to look really, really great. This comeback kill is a bit of a breather for them, but of course, you need to keep in mind, Moon Meander is level 5, almost 6 down here. Someone still needs to come and help Arteezy, or he's going to have to go back to base again.
Yep, he's trying to trip Spectral Dagger forward. Crit is on his way, almost trying to force Moon into the engagement. And with the Nova and Frostbite, this should be a return, but Moon, Burrow strikes out, going into the epicenter. He's built damage with the help of Misery, should be able to get a return kill onto Crit. Bumping Misery up as he hunts Arteezy through the tree line. Arteezy going north
40.
and then daggering away. He doesn't have his TP scroll. He's got 6 stick charges, but now he's on the wrong side of the river and cutting deeper into enemy territory.
This is going to take forever for Arteezy. He has to wait 30 seconds to TP to base.
And then come
and
back
then
out.
walk back to lane. He's basically losing 15 CS right now.
With the 6 stick charges, can you actually TP back to your tier 1 tower?
No. You need to... Well... Possibly, yeah. He could actually do that and send out a flask. I think that's a better play, to be honest, than going back to base at this point.
But the courier just got used and is sending a
Arcane
ring of
Aura.
regen for Sumail forward.
Yeah, well...
So no joy for Arteezy.
So usually you would say when you trade this Sand King for a Crystal Maiden, it's favorable for EG because they get a core kill for support, but the cost here for the Spectre is way too high. It's almost as if ThunderBird's got 2 kills there.
Arteezy actually went home too, so he didn't try and play around with the tier 1 tower. And this is not looking good for EG's early game, but you still can wait for that power hit. Zai's going to try and play this middle lane with the help of Arteezy. That's one way to get back to the front lines. Launch yourself in, go for the kill on Weeha. The damage output, however, Sumail must ball lighting himself in deeper. He had the regeneration room, that's what gave him the mana to get there, but they lost Arteezy. Crit's not too healthy either. And they know more. Misery underneath that sentry ward. EG re-engaging, able to kill off Misery, but Resolution lets the lights go. But the creep wave, it soaks up everything. Zai not getting hit by a single beam.
That was so unlucky for Resolution. Generally, you at least hit 1, but all 4 beams there from, or actually all 5 rather, from Eclipse hitting the wrong targets. And Zai can count his lucky stars on that one. And EG, that looked a bit shaky. At the end of the day, they get a couple kills and they get out. But it's at the cost of their bottom tier 1 tower. Arteezy, yes, he was involved, but again, I think he hasn't touched a creep for 2.5 minutes now on the Spectre. He gets a bit of assist gold in the middle. That's nice, but he needs more than this.
So how does EG protect him? Does this become a vision game around the Radiant jungle? Do you have to babysit him with 1 support? I suppose this will help when you can try and get kills up on top lane, but...
Well, to be fair, Resolution did also rotate mid, actually, so he also lost some CS, but look at the creep scores here.
Arteezy's trying to dagger forward and just harass down Suxa, but this is difficult. Zai can't really find the kill on him, and he knows it.
Spectre's just really weak right now. That's...
Yeah.
Most of the Spectre games we've seen this tournament, Spectre is just not given the perfect early game that it's looking for. It's generally a bad idea to give Spectre free farm unless you have a lineup that can peak early. Arguably, ThunderBirds could do that, and they did for the first short amount of time. Precious Sumail. Oh, speaking of which, he's going to jump in on.
Yeah, going on towards the middle lane. Death Prophet, real trouble, still silenced up, and Weeha will fall. Misery to the neighborhood, and he's starting to prep the tracks. He was actually the man attacking into Crit on the back line, so he wasn't there to help out.
Zai's Riki is really, really important in this game for EG. He's kind of set up everything for them. Every kill they've got on mid has been because of the smoke screen. How many deaths does Weeha have now? He has 3. Sumail only 2, and he got pressured hard in the start, but EG brought him back in the game. Once again, at the cost of Arteezy, but that's something they can maybe deal with now. His Haunt is online again. We'll be getting Urn after a couple more creeps. He probably wants to get involved and get some Urn charges up and running.
Maybe we should start talking about the other side of the RTZ coin, the resolution side, the one-for-one. Because right now resolution is #1 in net worth. He's actually bouncing forward with Sumail. But it's the fact that you've got a free farming and leveling up Luna. She TPs around a little bit, but she can bounce off the top lane and give the space for Moon to pick up his Blink Dagger. It looks like ThunderBird's timings and items are looking really good for that 5-man ball into EG.
Absolutely, and the key items in this game have got to be something along the lines of Euls and Force Staffs. That's how you deal with Riki. It's a great way of dealing with the Crystal Maiden. It's also a good way of dealing with Spectre, to be honest. You just want to create some space, buy time, and survive with your heroes.
They're coming for a kill up on top. Zai needs to get this perfect jump. It's going to help when Moon Burrow strikes aggressively forward. Here comes that horn. RTZ wants the kill, and they don't actually give it to him. Zai is the man who's going to get the last little backstab in onto the SK. Slows down the Blink Dagger and gets RTZ in a successful engagement.
Yeah, it's still, regardless, it's a very good play for EG. RTZ doesn't get the kill, but it's a good kill to get for their team. Now, will ThunderBirds try to put some more pressure here? They're looking to go mid.
Well, we've got no Exorcism available, so they can't just force it that way.
Well,
then they're getting flanked. Here comes Universe, crit as well. They go for the Frostbite over on Wee. Sumail jumping forward. They're going to Vortex back in Wee. Need a little bit more damage, but they won't be able to do it. Not while the Shallow Grave is down. But when you let the Frost fall, it will be enough to get 2 kills into ThunderBirds. Moon wants to join the engagement. Burrow strike forward. He only hits creeps, however. No control on the EG heroes. Misery will fall down as well. And Evil Geniuses. It was a casual wraparound, and ThunderBird sat there and took it.
Once again, the Riki of Zai is playing an incredible game so far. He gets the perfect smoke screen on the Luna. There was no Eclipse for the whole fight. Resolution's in this awkward position where you have to choose between running to the right and casting Eclipse and being out of range of almost everyone, or running left through the entire smoke screen. This is a level 1 smoke screen, mind you. It's still just, the smaller radius makes it a lot weaker than on higher levels, but it's good enough for now. And yep. ThunderBirds might have overstayed their welcome. I actually think that was playable for them, but as you pointed out, with no Exorcism, and if they don't get the Eclipse out, it's too hard.
Yeah, and until they have the 4-stars, that's not going to work for them. And even Luna, you know the Hurricane Pike will come, but because she built the Mask of Madness early on, it's next item Dragonlance, so it's going to take a while before these items come up. We probably thought you were going to get the injection of money once you started bringing down Tier 1 towers. But that's the purpose of having this Death Prophet as well as Luna. It should be something that EG cannot repel.
Damn, Sumail has a lot of CS. It's actually...
He's #1 in the network.
Really surprising. He's got 110 CS minute 13 after dying twice in lane and being involved in 7 kills. That is very impressive play from him. EG have been making some good moves after what looked like it could have been shaky early on. They've utilized especially the Haunt and the Riki very well, and of course the Storm Spirit following through, kind of come together as a team. And Universe, solid as rock as always, has no deaths on this Abaddon. Generally see other offlane Abaddons in this tournament have 1 or 2 deaths in lane. Kind of overextending a little bit, but he plays it safe.
And Universe has been a rock. Can be a bigger one too once he has the Vlad's up, so then EG's going to have a little bit more sustain when it comes to the engagements. They need that. They still need that for RTZ, especially when RTZ, like he goes for the Urn, the PMS, the phase, then next major item, and it's a long time before he's going to get there. It's the Relic into Radiance. So Sumail, this is his time. Like, if he can control the engagements and just the tempo of this game for the next 10 minutes, once he has that Bloodstone, they'll become a lot easier. But he needs to create the space for the spec.
Absolutely, but it looks like EG has kind of slowed the game down a bit with this couple of aggressive plays. ThunderBirds didn't really find the momentum that they were looking for, so now we get to play a little slower.
Oh, they smoked right on top of the obs. Well, so this movement, even Zai's actually backing up. He's staying close enough that he could potentially break the smoke, but he doesn't want to break it when he could also just be instantly detected. But do they even bring?
They can use this as a fake play. Okay.
And they got dust on the SK.
Saxa's going to see him.
Well, Zai sees a lot more. He's underneath the sentry ward, just on the edge. They don't see him anymore. That's why the dust had to be committed with Sumail. Long jump in, going in for the dazzle, able to find him. And Moon, thinking twice about it all, actually blinked himself away. Hence, no ability to counter initiate with Epicenter.
Was a good choice from him. I'm not sure who made the play call to go on the Riki. It's very tempting. You have the sentry in position, but the entire enemy team is missing. And if you start committing spells on the Riki, if you don't burst him, you're just going to get overrun. He uses tricks of the trade, and his team follows in. And they end up just cutting their dazzle, which probably is worth it.
RTZ changed his item build. He's actually got Blade Mail in his quick buy at the moment. So he's switching from that Radiance. Moon's a little deep up on this top lane. Smoke up, actually on him at the moment. Tries to run away. Spectral Horn going to be used. And then, well, a quick trick to the trade, but that is one very dead Moon. So he's picked up his Blink Dagger, and the first two engagements he's in, he runs away, and then he dies. Not the greatest first reveal for Thunderbirds.
I want to commend EG on how well they're utilizing Spectre. I feel like compared to other teams we've seen in the tournament, they are doing a very good job at using Haunt off cooldown. Arteezy has been in 9 out of 11 kills, so every time there's a Haunt available, he joins in, contributes with what his hero can right now. Obviously, Spectre not the greatest hero at this point in the game, but they're playing to their own strengths. Thunderbird's looking to do the same with this mid push.
And if they can do it. Getting hit by the Weave early on, so bring up the armor. EG are not going to engage him. They let the tier 1 tower fall. This time I think they understand there's both Exorcism as well as... Oh, wow, really? There's both Exorcism as well as Eclipse up, and they're going to lose their Dazzle. Okay, that's an easier way to take the fight. Keep getting pickoffs on all the sides of the Thunderbird's movement and don't engage the two big cores.
This is kind of a game of warding between Zai and Misery, who can get the better and more impactful wards out that sets up their team. Zai with these aggressive wards in the enemy jungle have been really useful. Miseries haven't paid off as much, basically. Big part of the reason being that Sand King hasn't really been able to set up his team as much as, EG just have more options for engaging. Both the Storm and the Riki can jump with a Haunt and find a pick anywhere. So if Thunderbird split up, they're going to die. And if they 5-man at the same time, EG generally sees their movements. They tried for the smoke play that got countered. And then, you kind of have to calm down, chill a bit, farm up some more, and that's the type of game EG want to play. Basically, the Riki is enabling greed.
Oh, jump, Samael, so long, and he'll get in. Nice and quick. Misery's been sitting there for the last 1-2 minutes, just trying to get that little bit of extra farm to bring him closer towards his mech. And Samael sees the perfect opportunity for the jump. And this is now 14 Bloodstone charges. We'll start the count. Let's see just how far Samael gets. And where does he go next? Like, is it going to be disable items? Is Orchid really the play when you're going to have probably both Manta and Newell Scepter? For the, one each for the cores of Thunderbirds?
Orchid is really good against Dazzle, but at the same time, he could maybe just jump and kill him off. Alternatively, generally you think one of two ways with Storm in this position. Either I'm owning, I want to keep owning. If you're having a great game, that's generally the mentality, so then you buy Orchid. The other one is, I'm having a hard game, I need something more defensive, then you buy Yules. Those are I want to say 3/4 of games, if not more, that is the next item, one of those two. And in this game, I think Samael is in a great position. Why not just go for the Orchid and keep the ball rolling?
Well, he's got it in the quick buy, so he definitely is going to be doing that. A little bit twitchy from Thunderbirds. They're being watched by this Observer Ward just on the bottom, and while they were doing that, they thought EG knew something more, and they actually does it on top of their own shrine. They're really, really uncertain where Zai is moving around.
This is a risky play from Thunderbirds, going for the Abaddon. That's just not going to happen at all. Oh, just a bit of harassment. They tried to probably force a TP here, just try to bait out a bit of response from EG. Unsuccessful, however. I believe Crit was already there and didn't TP in.
Yeah, he was just sitting behind. Yep. Zai's looking for his opportunity, and they know they can always bring in the numbers. So you got 3 up on the top. We already saw Nature's Prophet being effective earlier today. It's the same kind of thing. You can always bring the extra players to the north. And Zai, well, who's he want to go on? Weeha's the primary target. There goes your jump. They need a stun, however. Crit's not going to be in range in time. Neither is Samael. So a good TP out will keep him alive, but they'll still lose the tier 1.
That's a big commitment from EG, however. They use Haunt, they use all of Storm's mana. He does have Arcane Aura and Arcane Rune, so able to quickly get his mana back. That 14 charge Bloodstone. But Thunderbirds are trying to take whatever opportunity they can out of this. They know that with Haunt on cooldown, this fight is a lot more difficult for EG to take, so they go for this push, knowing that EG's lineup is pretty bad at killing Roshan. So usually when you go for this bottom area as the Dire, you're worried that the enemy team can go simply trade off. But that is just not an option right now for Evil Geniuses. So tier 1 for tier 2 trade is eventually what we're going to get to see here. And Thunderbird's probably pretty happy with this.
Yeah, it's building Resolution up to a point where his team fight's going to be really, really strong. Very difficult to kill off the Luna. He didn't actually build into the Hurricane Pike. He's still looking for the Manta. But that's more than likely because he's going to be predicting Samael's Orchid.
Misery loves company, so they're going to group up and smoke as 5.
And go Roshan.
And go Roshan. That's a good place to have a little bit of a get-together.
Oh, Exorcism it up. And they're going to commit with the Weave as well. As far as Radiant Vision goes, they don't see anything around the pit. But that's the reason why Zai is coming in. Where is the Sentry Ward? Where is the detection? Zai's going to put down the smoke screen. Roshan is dropping down to 1600. Zai is just waiting with the smoke screen down. They know it. There goes the Sentry Ward. So Zai finally visible. Moon gets a double barrel strike out. The jump forward. It will be the Aegis Immortal into the hands of Resolution. And with the Eclipse falling down, Zai falls. But he's the only one down at the moment. They want more with the track up the hill. They'll secret Moon again for the Burrow Strike. Able to catch out the Crystal Maiden. Samel can't really do much to stop it. It's Misery as the bounty hunter, picking up the double kill after Roshan was properly killed by the Diocide. So Thunderbird's get exactly what they want. A couple of kills and the Aegis.
100% textbook stuff of how you take advantage of the bit of information you're given. They know that Haunt is down. They know that they have the better Roche lineup. They know that they got away with getting this tier 2 tower bottom. They're just using every little bit of advantage that they have at this point in time. If Haunt is off cooldown, this could be a completely different story, because EG could just pop the Haunt, get full vision of every other hero, isolate the one they want, and build the fight on their terms. But with RTC unable to do so, Thunderbirds this time around get all of their spells off very well. And that wasn't even perfect. They didn't have a sentry down early, so Zai did get in for the smoke screen. With an earlier sentry, maybe he just dies and the Roche falls, but you could argue it's maybe better this way. They got a bonus kill on crit like this.
Yep, they actually made EG believe they had the fight. There was so much patience from Thunderbirds. Smoke screen went down. Did they freak out? No, they just took it one kill at a time.
And credit to Moon Meander in this fight. I think he had a bit of a rough start on Sand King, but playing it cool in that fight, finding the key stuns that he needed to, and playing around the smoke screen
kill at the moment. They're hunting into the dire jungle. And they would love to find a target, but unfortunately for them, like the Dire are already predicting some kind of scan. Okay, they're going to find one. It's going to be Saksa. Jump ball from Sumail. 15 Bloodstone charges. It's been a while since he's added an extra digit to that. But it will allow them now to force into the tier 1 tower in mid. No fortification available. Thunderbirds are in no position to defend.
It's extremely hard to play Dazzle in this game. He has to spend so much gold on detection.
Universe.
And he can get jumped at any time.
They still have that Observer Ward. It's been up for so long. So Misery gets silence off Sumail, jumping forward. But the physical damage will be more than enough. Universe will find that kill, bringing him to a 4-0-4 on the Abaddon.
And they don't even need to use the Haunt here. Evil Geniuses are actually in a good position to look for this bottom tier 1. Have Haunt available. Relic is on the courier for Arteezy, so 1,000 gold to go for him for that big Radiance upgrade. And that's when things get scary for Thunderbirds, in my opinion. First of all, the Haunt is going to show them where Bounty Hunter is. There's going to be an illusion spawning next to him. They're going to cancel out the Sand King's Blink Dagger. And with Dazzle being this poor, the Spectre alone can force Grave and probably just kill him off after. And without the Grave, Stormspear is going to have a great time. Now they have two options of dealing with the fights, especially when his Orchid comes up. Oh, top lane crit is in absolutely no man's land.
Thankfully, there's the Yule Scepter after the Barrows Drive from Moon, again focusing on creeps instead of heroes.
Usually these kills aren't that expensive, you know. Sometimes you risk it with a support. You're like, okay, I'm going to go top and push until I get killed and we get some information about what's going on the map. A lot of the times, a position 4 or 5 will do this, and you're like, okay, that's fair enough. We got a 4 or 5-man rotation to kill our CM. There's trap. It's a lot more expensive to buy this information for Evil Geniuses in this game. And in a way, maybe they should have predicted this. They still have the tier 1 tower top. We know there's an Aegis on Luna. It's the most likely next play for Thunderbirds to just go up here, group up, and take 2 towers. Yeah. I'm curious if they want to go high ground now, because they have Reeve, Aegis, Solar Crest on the Death Prophet, and level 2 Exorcism.
If EG want to try and go for the trade-off, maybe it's worth it just to nudge the tier 3 tower to bring him back, but EG's going for the tier 2, and Crystal Maiden's on the defense job.
Yep. It's a risky play to go high ground here. You don't have a big advantage, but you do have the Aegis, and you still know that Radiance isn't online. Oh, well, now it is. But at the time, the information that they have was that Arteezy was not ready with the Radiance. So, looks like Thunderbirds more than likely made a good read here, after all, to not go up.
Yeah, might be good. Get the BKBs up, get the safety onto your Luna. Actually, Resolution switched. He had BKB in his quick buy, now he's looking at the Skadi instead, as opposed to going for immunity against. Well, I suppose you've already got some level of escape from the Storm's initiation. What more would a BKB buy you?
An ability to use your spells against Riki is Pretty valuable.
That is a nice thing. Not going to lie.
Smoke screen is scary. Oh, here comes Samael.
Long jump, looking for it again. Dazzle, 4-star up. The Orchid won't be enough to kill him. And this is a way where he can actually hold on to his shallow grave. Moon again missing the Burrow Strike as Samael hiding in the trees.
That's actually probably a kill if they hit that Sand King stun. Samael used so much mana on this engage, and he can be happy that that didn't turn into a fight, to be honest.
There's Exorcism as well as Eclipse available.
Yeah, they are not going to need... Oh, actually, wow.
They're going to commit it. They want the tier 2 tower. It's the last remaining outer tower for Evil Geniuses. Question is, do you really push any further? Because now your Aegis is gone. It just timed out.
Oh, they definitely can't go further than this.
They have to finish the tier 2 tower, though.
Yeah, well,
Or do they just leave it?
we doesn't feel confident.
The Lunar Illusion is currently killing it, and they're going for the kill. EG want the kill. That's why Storm Spirit, long jump forward, going after the Death Prophet. That actually, will it be enough with the Yule Scepter up? He may have enough time to get the life back in from the Exorcism. No, it will not be. He will fall.
Key Orchid coming out from Samael on the Dazzle, as talked about earlier. That's the problem. He wants to grave the DP, but simply can't get it off. The Haunt immediately gives them vision of where the Dazzle is. Easy click for Samael to get that Orchid off in two kills and a tier 2, more than likely.
Now EG, they're the ones to push.
Yep.
Zai is just roaming around trying to find anyone. Moon is in no position to fight this one because he doesn't have the support. Resolution moved up to the top lane to let his Illusion start doing the push. So maybe we start looking around the Roshan timer. It will be a rather quick spawn. It's going to be in the first minute of the 3 that it will spawn up. And we'll see who that really does favor if Thunderbirds go in again and try and look for Roshan.
Well, Resolution is getting really, really big. And Luna is a great hero at fighting in Roshan as long as you can get your Eclipse off. So once again, look toward that Riki. Manta can counter the Orchid of the Storm and the Frostbite, so really should have no real problem apart from dealing with the Riki. Do they have a 4-step apart from Sand King? That's the only one for now. That is one way of making sure Luna gets her ulti off. But you generally don't really want to use your 4-step aggressively in this game, I feel. You need to have to save a support or even Sand King himself with that force.
But that's why I'm interested to see why he bypassed the Hurricane Pike and decided to finish the full Skadi instead.
That's true. I think Pike could have also been a very nice choice here. Absolutely.
Because there's no way Dazzle's going to find the money for anything. He's having a hard enough time, and now you get a Diffusal Blade up on Zai. The Riki starts progressing his way into being that 4th core for EG.
That's a very big item. Can purge off the Yules of Death Prophet. And they can kill her off very swiftly. Storm's going to jump Death Prophet. She's going to self-Yules. They purge it, Orchid the Dazzle, and just kill DP. They need bigger items on Weehaw right now. The Blink Dagger is very different than what we usually see, and it's more of an aggressive approach.
Yeah.
It can also be used defensively, of course. If they see the Storm Jump coming, he can maybe disengage. Of course, hoping maybe to play the Yules into Blink, but as mentioned, that Diffusal Blade's going to put a quick
That's a really
stop to
good. That's a really good Dire Observer Ward. But at the same time, EG just put down their own Radiant one inside the jungle.
Haunt.
So if they want to jump forward, yeah, Haunt will be used. At the same time, defensive Weave comes out, and EG really thought Thunderbirds were a lot closer, and Thunderbirds instantly smoke.
It's the obvious play here. I think EG are going to see this one coming. I was expecting that if Thunderbirds have a smoke, this is the time you want to burn it.
What's the time for this? Roshan just spawned. If they look in there with the Arcane Rune on the Death Prophet, they could potentially kill off Roshan before EG knows it, but no. They're moving towards the mid lane. There's still a tower within deny range. It's on 51 HP, and Crit is finally going to take care of it. Goodbye, Zai, walking in through the back lines. CM denies the tower, and yep, they're coming mid. The Arcane Rune has worn off now, but there's no Riki for 40 seconds, and that's after he just bought the Diffusal Blade. So here they come. Exorcism up, the Weave again, boost up the armor, but where's your creep wave? It doesn't exist just yet.
They don't need it right now. They just need to make sure that the Death Prophet does not get burst down. Nice damage coming out here from EG.
Mech already triggered off by Misery. The life is going to be there. Resolution just had his Skadi arrive as well. And with the creep wave here, they can push in. And they can push in pretty hard. Arteezy moves to the front line. He's actually, he's going on Resolution. Same with Samael. They want that kill. A quick Yule Scepter up. Resolution can't get the distance. Or can he? No, Samael gets the last hit in. Weehaw split 3 ways with a Cypher, but he just can't suck enough as he'll get hold in position. Okay, Moon, is this his time? No, Samael just ball landings up. He's looking for another kill. One more attack on the Moon. It's not enough. 33 HP. We split up again. Back in towards the Death Prophet on the Weehaw. Universal find this one. They hold their ground. Samael once more, but he can't find Moon. Moon TP's out, and Misery is invisibly running away.
Very nice play here from EG in the base. This is how you try to defend against this kind of pushing lineup. Slowly but steadily whittling them down with Crystal Nova, Aphotic Shield, Mist Coil, just using all of the tools you have. And the moment Thunderbirds have 2 heroes on half health, you bring in the Storm. He even got a double ball lightning hit. And Thunderbirds, as you said, had they only checked the Roshan pit when they ran past it, they might have changed their mind and gone for that first. As that probably would have just been a clean pick. There's no Ricky alive. He didn't have buyback. But now instead, EG gets this. This is probably the biggest minute of the game that we just saw here. This is a big game changer. Sumail 21 Bloodstone charges and Aegis.
Let's have a look at the fight again. So there's that Sumail jump in. Thought for a moment you get more damage down from the Exorcism, but it just wasn't there. And there was no heal. Misery burned the mech before this fight began.
I think in addition to that, the BKB reveal took them by surprise. They didn't know that this BKB was available on Sumail. So Sand King was ready to do an immediate counter jump on the Storm. Maybe Thunderbirds were playing on that idea. Okay, we're going to get a bit low. Storm will jump. Be ready with Sand King. Instant counter jump. We know that they can't go in with the Haunt since that's on cooldown. But, you know, there was a BKB in the way. And now this game is looking very good for Evil Geniuses. It's not like they have a massive advantage. We're talking 4K gold. The experience actually is massive. Okay,
yeah,
that
the
is
experience
massive.
is a lot higher.
That's kind of crazy. But it's more just the flow of the game, you know. As you just have this feel in this game that going later, the Storm and Spectre will be a really big problem.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, if Thunderbirds are able to find a way to win a fight, they got a lot of push power between the Death Prophet as well as the Luna.
For sure.
So there is a way if they can take the engagement. But for now, they're out of position. Sumail and Universe, they enter the base up on the top lane. Saxa is the only one really in position. Moon's coming in, but he's also been feeling very underwhelming for his influence in these fights.
They're going to need BKBs. Nice courier snipe here by Misery. It's a bit of a bonus for the Dire squad. But you need BKBs now as Thunderbirds, and they've realized that both Luna and DP have queued them up. And that will make the fights a lot harder for EG. Almost no matter what they can buy for the same amount of gold that they're going to be earning in the same time frame, Thunderbirds get the higher impact items. Yep. The EG lineup actually sucks against BKB. They're really weak. Storm loses a lot of damage against it. Spectre loses a lot of damage against it. Both Desolate and Radiance doesn't work. Ricky loses his Diffusal. It's a very good pickup.
So here's the question. Does EG just disengage? Sumail jumping in, maybe he can bait out the BKBs that way, having Zai being aggressive.
It's one option, but you have a mid tower on 170 health. And Thunderbirds ideally want to go for a smoke play that sets them up to push mid.
Exactly
right now
they
see Arteezy on their wards and actually just barely avoid the smoke of EG.
They just weaved and
this is
managed to dodge
awkward.
it. They're going to find Arteezy. The smoke will break. Misery gets the vision.
Oh, no!
Boom is the Burrow Strike. Here comes the Mail. Looking for the opening. The Eclipse will fall. Where is the glaive damage? Arteezy still alive for the moment. They're probably not for much longer. Misery, he will finally fall. Moon pushing himself up the hill, but Sumail, under the cover of his own BKB, has the life. Weeha trying to man this up, but he can't get out. He will be able to find at least one kill on the support, but he cannot survive the wrath of EG. Sumail and Universe, the Immortals, will survive, and somehow Resolution said, you know what? I'm out, boys. I managed to survive this. I got a couple of kills. I ain't dying for this.
I thought that was going to end way worse for Thunderbirds. They end up salvaging this with a 4-for-3 with a couple of track kills, so at the end of the day, a fairly even fight with the gold outcome. Obviously, XP should be favoring EG a bit there, but that Sand King stun is going to bother him a lot, because this fight, without Haunt, Spectre insta-dying, could have been the moment for Thunderbirds to get a lane of racks, actually.
They just didn't have the vision instantly. Like, their only observer what they had was closer back towards the shrine. It didn't see past that troublesome tree and into the Radiant jungle. They knew he was roughly there, but it wasn't enough to hit the stun.
It was a nice play from Arteezy as well, sidestepping to the right. Usually, you know, the common trajectory that you're going to be moving in when you go to the side is that you will try to create as much distance to the enemy team as possible. So when Moon Meander has to go for the blind stun, Arteezy walks towards him so that there is the chance that the stun will miss. And Arteezy also knows in this moment that Moon Meander has to make the play fast, because his own team is coming in and Thunderbirds probably expect that. As a result, we're going to see it here. So Arteezy breaks the smoke, runs up, and now he's going to step right just a little bit to dodge this Sand King stun. And it makes a big difference that he gets Haunts out. Of course, he does die here, but Arteezy's damage in that fight was really significant. And look at Saxa just dying every fight. It's just merciless. Playing Dazzle in this game is an absolute nightmare. He's playing against two of the worst heroes he can face, Storm Spirit and Ricky. So Saxa, honestly, him being 0-7 and 8, not too bad.
Oh, look at that. You see it from Moon. You see it from, he knows. He knows he just got... Well, he got scored by Arteezy.
He's just not having one of his best games, and this is where it's important that you don't lose focus on the bigger plays. You know, sure, you messed up. It wasn't the end of the world. The fight didn't go as it could have, but there's going to be more fights ahead of him. Next time, just keep a bit cooler. Don't get tilted.
Watch this timing on Samel. He's got 20 seconds before this Aegis will time out, so he wants to be a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, he's got a lot of money. A full Bloodthorn done, and he's already staring down the barrel of a Shiva's 1,400 away from completing that as well. And then he's almost 6-slotted.
Shiva is incredible in this game. So much of Thunderbird's damage is physical. Of course, Luna is one of those special carries that have a lot of magic damage output as well, but Samel has the BKB against that. So once at BKB, killing Samel is really difficult. They have no BKB piercing stun or anything of the like.
They're coming again. Misery underneath the sentry ward. And, well, he doesn't know. Here comes the jump forward. Resolution will arrive too, but Samel, he already has the stun with the shallow grave up. Misery will be able to survive this, and Samel wants to stand his ground to blink forward. Weeha just goes in with the Exorcism up, with the help of Resolution. The damage may just be enough. EG's on the retreat, but fighting underneath their shrine. The life is there. It's Crit who's on the run. It's a 1-for-1 trade-off at the moment. Zion the back lines, making the Thunderbirds look behind themselves. Not easy, just TPs away. Following HYHY's instructions, stays in the trees, and Zion, where's your detection? The TP, well, you don't see him. He's out, he's gone.
That was one big thing we didn't cover from the previous big team fight, the 4-for-3 exchange, was that there was a gem turned around on EG. They got the gem of Moon Meander, so the gem unavailable for Thunderbirds in this time frame, and they really need that. This Riki is being an absolute pestilence. And in this fight, Eclipse didn't come out. This is one of the problems that you have when you go Mask of Madness in a hero like Luna. He wants to use the Mask of Madness to get into the fight. Couldn't use Eclipse for those full 8 seconds and ends up not even getting it off the whole fight.
I'm wondering if Eclipse is even going to be enough. I'm looking at Arteezy staring down the barrel of having a full heart. The survivability on the EG heroes is greater than the damage output coming from Thunderbirds.
Everything matters.
Done nothing. Dazzle, like his Shadow Wave damage, you're not going to count that as enough. Bounty Hunter throwing around a couple Shuriken tosses. This just isn't enough. That you need to have more damage on the Luna.
Yeah, you do, eventually, but Eclipse is still playing a really big role right now, and not getting it off is a big loss. Of course, the later the game goes, the weaker it gets. I'm curious to see what Arteezy is thinking of next after this heart.
He may have the other protection. Like, I'm looking at Universe, looking at his Aghanim Scepter is 1,400 away.
Yeah, it's a big item.
Yep.
I feel like I talk about that every single game I cast the bat in, but honestly, it's incredible.
The reason why this hero is being one of the most picked up heroes as Smail goes for the long jump. Where's the save? The smoke screen is down. Resolution gets the BKB up, but he's just so low. The physical damage may be enough. The Shallow Grave. It'll be there in time. Now the attention turns towards Misery. Moon creates some space with his Burrow Strike, but Misery is down. The Shrine's trigger as the Haunt will allow EG to go up high ground against the Tier 3 tower. Weeha wants them out of his home, but don't go out too far. In fact, they may have to. The Tier 2 tower is where EG is shifting their attention now.
Yeah, tower's going. They really don't want to fight this. Resolution used this BKB. They have a dead Bounty Hunter. Sure, he might not be the strongest team fight hero right now, but the tracks are actually playing a big role in Thunderbird's abilities to stay on target with the Death Prophet, especially. That movement speed bonus pretty much gives Weeha haste every single fight. Good play from EG here.
Most of it. Like, Weeha's going in. The second he triggers that Exorcism, he wants to be right on top of any target he wants to kill, and he's looking for the backliners.
I think getting in on the Maiden really quick and just getting rid of her is very nice. That's one option. The other option is to lay in hard into... Well, yeah, where are you going to go on? Like, the Spectre is too hard to kill now. Abaddon you really don't want to go on. Storm you're not touching, and Riki you're not finding. So, well, kind of limited on his options in this game.
They just sentryed up as well. They missed the Observer Ward. The camp is blocked, and their 2 sentries are too far away. Roshan is a lot longer in his spawn time. It's just over 2 minutes of the 3 potential. And they're trying to work it out. Like, something is not right. Maybe this is one option they can go for when they find Arteezy a little bit far out, but no, that ain't an option.
It gets tricky for Thunderbirds. We didn't really talk too much about Arteezy's Blade Mail, but the reason he gets it is that both Luna and Death Prophet has abilities that, yes, you can control Exorcism, but at the same time the fights get very chaotic. You need to be very careful and you need to switch away targets from him unless you want to take a lot of physical damage with this. And then you have a spell like Eclipse where you have no choice. Obviously, when Luna's BKB is running, doesn't care too much about that. There's still the physical damage, all the bouncing glaives. It's a constant flow of damage that Arteezy can bring to the fights with his Blade Mail.
And that's why you switch it up. That's why you get Resolution the Satanic, but he just got scouted out. If he really goes down here, this is going to be a huge problem. Triggers the BKB, needs to use the Satanic as well, get that life back out of EG, but he has to run further away. Arteezy doesn't keep up with the chase. Instead, they turn their attention towards Weeha with an Exorcism. He tries to do as much damage as possible, and it's working for the moment. He's holding his ground under the cover of the BKB, which will wear off in just a second, which is right now. Moon pulled back in the Shutter Grave. The perfect claim from Zuxa, but we're again into the Spectral Horn. Will it be enough? You've lost 2, you've lost 3, a triple kill for Arteezy, and they look towards the mid with 4 down for Thunderbirds. Only the Death Prophet has buyback, but without Exorcism, she's not going to do a hell of a lot.
They are so limited in fights when Resolution has to back off. This entire fight is 4 and 5, basically. Rezo, sure, he survives using the Satanic and gets out to safety, but can't contribute anything to the fight. Weeha's already committed in, can't really go back. And this could be the end of game number 1 here. EG will at least be getting 2 lanes.
And Zai, he's already looking to initiate up on top of Resolution. The life is just being drained from the Luna. Nothing she can do, and GG, well played. Evil Geniuses take game 1 of this best of 3 against Thunderbirds.
Gotta give a lot of credit to especially Zai and Sumail in this game, I think.
Sumail's recovery.
Yeah.